it's all rusty and it's painted and stuff like that. To restore it, I'm going to put it back to its original form. Right?
Yeah.
Now, a copycat comes along and says, hey, you know what? This one's old. We're going to make a new one. We're going to fix it up. We're going to put the latest springs, the latest tires, and all this and that. Okay? You can't call this one a restored one because this is a copycat, right? And it's off. It's not restored. So if you're going to restore the Aaronic priesthood, you got to restore the sacrifices. You got to restore the high priest. You got to restore the Sabbath day. You got to restore all these things that you had in the Aaronic priesthood. So if you're not restoring the Aaronic priesthood the way it was originally done, then you don't have a restoration of the Aaronic priesthood.
But see, this is where, it comes in important that Christ himself said, I fulfill the law. He fulfilled the law, and that priesthood was changed.
Remember we're reading in Hebrews where it says we don't need another Aaronic priesthood?
See, but you didn't read it because if you'll read through it, it talks about the difference between the Melchizedek and the Aaronic. Not that the Aaronic priesthood is no longer needed. Like, for example, if...
I believe it does say that in Hebrews, Hebrews 7:11? I believe it does say that the Aaronic priesthood is no longer necessary because we have a higher priesthood, which is the Melchizedek priesthood, that only Jesus could fulfill.
Like, it does say right here in verse 11, if therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek and not be called after the order of Aaron? It doesn't say that the Aaronic priesthood was taken.
King James, is it?
Yeah, it is the King James.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And see, Oscar, we don't want to contend with you. We are simply here to testify that this restoration did in fact happen. Do you want to look at it here? Or,
No.
Are you just okay.
No, because the reason why, because we've been taught that the Aaronic priesthood is over because there's a new law. Okay.
And so, if I may ask, who taught me that? Like, when you say we've been taught, like, who's done that?
From the scriptures.
But who has taught you? Like, who has said, hey, this is what the scriptures say?
From the Christian, our pastors at the Christian church, have taught us that the old law has been abolished. It's all over the scriptures.
So if I may, we know that the law of Moses has been abolished.
Right, and the law didn't the law of Moses come to the Aaronic priesthood?
The Aaronic priesthood was given, and then the law. Like, Aaron was ordained, and then Moses was given the law, and those people who officiated in the Aaronic priesthood, they had that authority to do those things. Yeah. And so even though the Aaronic priesthood isn't what brings us perfection, it doesn't say that it ended. It simply says that we don't receive salvation through the Aaronic priesthood alone, but through the Melchizedek priesthood. Through Christ, just like you're saying.
Okay. So, we could agree to disagree. Right? We could agree to disagree. Because, you're taught one way, I'm taught another way. So, that's why we have questions, and we're not, contending. We're just discussing. We're reasoning. Yeah. We're reasoning with the scriptures, right? So,
so if I may ask, if the priesthood was, like, if Christ, through his chosen people that he gave that priesthood to, if that was done a specific way, would it not be done the same way today?
Are you talking about the Aaronic or the Melchizedek?
Both.
Both?
Like, not exactly like saying there'll be sacrifices.
That's what I'm saying, but if you're going to call it a restoration, that was my point. If you're going to call the Aaronic priesthood a restoration.
But see, we're not saying the restoration of the law of Moses. Yeah. We're saying the restoration of the Church of Jesus Christ. We're not saying the law of Moses being restored. We're talking about the Church of Jesus Christ in these days.
And so these witnesses right here, all these witnesses right here, they feel the same way as you do. Because according to this book right here, I don't know if you've seen this book before. Have you seen this book before?
Yeah, it's a book.
Yeah. This is one of the 8 witnesses.
No, one of the 3.
One of the 3 witnesses.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Now, this one right here, it's talking about high priests. Okay? This is one of the 3 witnesses. It says, high priests were only in the church before Christ, and to have this office in the church of Christ is not according to the teachings of Christ in either of the sacred books. Christ himself is our great and last high priest. You see that? He's the high priest. He's the last one. Now this is one of the three witnesses. Okay?
And that was the time when he left the church. He had been excommunicated from the church. So he was not authorized to speak for the church.
But he was he a high priest in the church?
He was at one time.
Okay. But he left the church
He
because
fell outstanding because he became excommunicated. He never returned to the church, but he never denied what he wrote in the Book of Mormon as his testimony. He might have come to different conclusions, but that's not the official position of the church.
Yeah, this is by David Whitmer.
And so, do you remember us telling you how most of those men actually fell away from the church and one or two returned? He was the one who never returned to the church.
He never returned?
No.
He fought against the church.
When was that published? You read one?
1887.
Right, that was before he died.
Okay.
Did you read through there to see if he ever denied the book, what he wrote about the Book of Mormon? And he was asked many times, and even one time.
Right. Yeah. I read that he didn't deny the Book of Mormon.
He did not deny what he wrote in the.
But yeah, he did not.
But he fell out of the church because.
But he denied the office of the high priest.
Yeah,
Which is he denied other things, but he was not the prophet. He was excommunicated.
But like if like I'm denying the office of the high priest. Okay, because I've been taught. Because I was in a high priest situation with the Catholic Church. Then I left the Catholic Church. We didn't have any high priests. It was just bishops.
Right.
So now you're saying that now we have to go back to the high priest again. But then doing a little research, this guy doesn't believe in the high priesthood either.
After he had left the church. So if I may pause you, Oscar, I'm going to take a step back. Have you been reading from the Book of Mormon and praying about it? Or have you spent all your time going through libraries, looking through scriptures, and have you been going through testimonies of men who have fallen from the faith? Because for me, what I can see is that is what you've been doing. And as a representative of Jesus Christ, I will testify to you that you will never find the fullness of the gospel of Jesus Christ the way you are going about it. And that unless you let me finish, please. Unless
you guys look.
You didn't listen to us for a moment, Oscar. This man was in the church, but he fell. And so that is not true.
That's not a book of the church.
That is
written by someone outside of the church.
This is what we would call anti-Mormon material.
It is?
Yes.
Oh,
because
see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I don't want to get angry because I will say I'm a little frustrated because it seems that we answer your question, but
no,
we
because
still have the same question. Is David Whitmer, he was one of those three witnesses that were seen.
No, because I mean, if I may, he told me to read the beginning of the thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're talking about the witnesses right here, the three witnesses. So I'm like, okay, David Whitmer. So I'll look him up and say, okay, David Whitmer. He wrote a book. This book right here. So I was like, okay, so I'll order this book. It only cost $7. Do a little research on this. I'm investigating. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an investigator.
I'm sorry. It's like I feel.
Am I an investigator?
No,
Oh yeah, sorry. So I guess the confusion was that we were trying to say that this guy who wrote the book, he
See, I didn't know that he ran away from the church. That he left the church.
And so I'm so sorry. I ask that you'll forgive me. It's just because I was under the impression that you were going to be like, oh, this is see if I can find something. So
no.
sorry.
As you can see, I'm going through the train of thought here because it's
I understand what you're trying to do.
It's here. It's all links, right?
But what has to be done is, remember the discourse of the prophet Alma?
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about that?
You remember reading that one?
Oh, yeah.
He talked about the seed. Like, faith is like a seed. Now, one way you can increase the goodness of the seed is to water it and to nourish it, right? And what does that mean? To look at it with an eye of faith to what you're studying. And what you're studying is right now by the elders is the Book of Mormon. To give that your honest, prayerful reading.
Right.
And
But
then
the book.
Then you'll have a lot of things explained about
Yeah, like
the
what, like.
priesthood. There's stuff in there about Alma talks about the high priesthood. There's a lot of things about there that you would get to understand what was part of the church.
Okay, so like you said, I was reading this, and it says to go to the history of the church.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so you go to the history of the church.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I have these books.
Oh yeah,
So
that's fine.
Is this anti-Mormon stuff, or should I throw this away too?
No. I guess why we were getting upset before was that we were trying to explain that.
See, I didn't know this was anti-Mormon.
Yeah, and see,
They were
I'm
trying to
so
explain
sorry
that.
again, is because like I thought you were coming at it from the way of like, hey, this is what you guys are saying. I'm like, no, that's anti-Mormon material because this man.
No, but see, okay, because like I said, the Catholic Church has a high priest.
Yeah.
When I became a Christian, we didn't have high priests, we had bishops. So you're saying we need a high priest, but then after reading the 8 witnesses, this guy doesn't believe that there should be high priest. So as you can see, what I believe is what this guy believes, and he comes for your church. So it shouldn't be a shock to you that someone believes that there's no high priest, because your own the first 3 witnesses it feels the same way. You see that? So it shouldn't be like a total shock. I can't believe he doesn't believe in a high priest. This guy doesn't believe in a high priest.
Right.
Well, I guess what we were trying to say, and we, kind of talk about, is that David Whitmer did leave the church and didn't believe it anymore, so he came up with other stuff that wasn't church doctrine, and so that's not our church doctrine. That was David Whitmer. He was one of the 3 witnesses, but he left the church. So that's what we're trying to say.
Okay, so
So we go back to Ephesians, because I think that would help you.
this guy ran away from the church.
Yeah.
So
Can we just go back to Ephesians?
Ephesians.
Yeah, read the whole verses there, because this will help give you a framework to look at.
Well, let me read this one more paragraph on this train of thought that we have here. History of the church. Is this anti-Mormon?
No, sorry, that was just.
Okay. So right here it says, Joseph Smith is talking at an address to the prophet. Okay, and he says here that I have more to boast of than any other man had. I am the only man that has ever been able to keep the whole church together since the days of Adam. A large majority of the whole have stood by me. Neither Paul, John, or Peter, nor Jesus ever did. I boast that no man ever did such work as I. The followers of Jesus ran away from him, but the Latter-day Saints never ran away from me yet. So he's saying, this is kind of like he's bragging, like he did more than Jesus. And so, did you read the rest?